Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming into another video. All right, so I got a couple things on my mind. One is the De'Aaron Fox situation. I think I hinted at it earlier today when we were talking. That video will probably not get uploaded for hours at a time, so you'll see this one before that one. But yes, Sacramento has made it clear that they're open to shopping De'Aaron Fox. I guess he has a 2 years left on his deal. And maybe hopes of going to the San Antonio Spurs, play with Wemby. And yeah, we did talk about that in that video. I think I kind of got into my opinion, but I just think that they don't really have to rush because of the fact they have 2 years left on the deal. They could try to shop him, see if they can get something good for him. Maybe have somebody like overpay for him for a 2 year deal. Maybe get San Antonio to try to jump in early. But if I'm San Antonio, I'm not really sure how necessary it is to pay for 2 years on his contract currently. I'm not really sure. You know what I mean? I haven't done the thinking, is what I'm trying to say. It might make a lot of sense to get Wemby his running mate now. It might make a little more sense to get him when the price comes down, when it's only 1 year left. So I'm not really sure. I don't know what the science would be for San Antonio, but I don't think the Kings should feel like they need to do this within the next 9 days necessarily. If something comes their way and it blows their socks off, cool. But I think that they have more to consider than just simply making a move for De'Aaron Fox to make him happy. You got to consider your timeline after that, and then get a little tricky for them if they're looking at the timeline saying, we want to win now. Because San Antonio likely has pieces that they can give them for De'Aaron that'll be best for a rebuild rather than continuing on the path of winning. And if you lose De'Aaron Fox and you don't get the right thing back, could you potentially, X out the idea of Sabonis wanting to stick around, DeMar sticking around, Monk sticking around? Do those guys decide they want to bounce if you trade De'Aaron Fox for a bunch of picks and maybe like a rebuilding type piece, like, I don't know, Stephon Castle or something like that? So I'm not really sure what the Kings want to do or what makes sense to them, or I really, it's up to them to make a decision. I think they have enough win now talent on multiple contracts to try to stay winning now. I think you can obviously get third team and a fourth team involved, try to make more sense of what it is you want to bring back. Jimmy Butler's always hanging around out there. Bradley Beal's contract is out there. So that's an interesting thing. I don't think they want Bradley Beal per se on a no-trade clause, but they did have interest in bringing him to Sacramento 2 years ago. That no-trade clause was definitely on there. So I don't know. I don't think that would be a move I would make. But Sacramento's a little bit of a wild card, and when you got a timeline like they do, you kind of in a weird spot. So that's what I see there. But yeah, that's what's on my mind there. And then another thing to look out for is the Phoenix Suns, because they did turn their 2031 pick into 3 first rounders. And that gives them a lot of flexibility. And now it looks like they're going to have a hard time getting Jimmy Butler, for whom they got those picks to try to make it happen for. So given the fact that they don't really respect picks, more so than just respecting going all in, and now that they've done this to turn themselves into a team with like 3 first round picks ready to trade, I think it's a decent chance they may be willing to move those picks right now for something else, in the event that they can't get Jimmy Butler because they can't move, what's the guy's name? Bradley Beal, as I just mentioned. If they can't find a landing spot for Bradley Beal, they certainly can't slide in Jimmy Butler's salary. So if they deviate from that plan entirely, do they become players for somebody else? For them, now you got a situation where you can't necessarily bring in salary, but you can maybe bring in a rookie contract, like a Walker Kessler, and you throw in a pick or two. I'm sure Danny Ainge will give you Walker Kessler for a first round pick or two, if you're the Suns. Now, they just picked up Nick Richards, but Nick Richards is a career backup for me. I know he's playing well, but he's a career backup. The Nurkic situation, they would probably have to find a separate deal to move Nurkic. But they could be a player for Walker Kessler with them first rounders. or somebody like that if there's another player on a rookie contract that may be available. I don't know who that would be, but that's something. Like if I'm Phoenix and I just can't get Jimmy Butler, but I definitely want a player that can be a game changer for my trio, Walker Kessler is that. He's that. Yeah, big time upgrade from Nurkic. Now you're probably paying for a rental, but like they're so intent on being a win now team I don't know that they wouldn't consider doing something like that any damn way if they can't get Jimmy Butler. You can't move Bradley Beal. Maybe you can entice someone to take Bradley Beal with those 3 picks, but God, that's a lot of equity just to subtract a player when your timeline is right now any damn way. So it's like those picks will definitely entice somebody to take Bradley Beal. Problem is, that's not what you did that for. That's not what you did that for. But it will create a lot of flexibility if you can find a way to get rid of that Bradley Beal contract. But the thing about it is, Bradley Beal's contract's only 2 years long. So even though he has a no-trade clause on it, you can swap that thing. That's what I'm saying. The Sacramento idea is interesting because you give Sacramento 2 picks or 3 picks, and you tell them, here, in the event you move De'Aaron Fox, you take Bradley Beal from us, and we'll give you these picks. Now, obviously, De'Aaron Fox wouldn't be necessarily moving to Phoenix, in theory, but it's like that's a scenario where you could totally see a team who may need a win now timeline types of move and will also benefit from the picks that could also come their way as well. So it's like Phoenix can get rid of Bradley Beal if they really want to, in my opinion. It's just going to cost them the picks they just created in trying to create an opportunity to bring in Jimmy Butler. You know, I'm of the mindset that if I'm Phoenix, me personally, I'm holding on to Jimmy Butler for the next 2 years, and Bradley Beal for the next 2 years, and I'm holding on to those picks. And I'm gonna have flexibility that allows for me to do things in the future. When KD retires, I got picks to burn. Might be able to set myself up to have a better team than what it looks like they're gonna have in the future. So the flexibility is something I value, especially with older players. I value that. Phoenix has shown me no sign of valuing that. They want to bring themselves a 36-year-old Jimmy Butler. So based on how they operate, I think it makes all the sense in the world to consider them a team that could potentially be willing to move some first-round picks to get some stuff, or to get rid of Bradley Beal and bring in something that doesn't have a no-trade clause on it. So I don't know how important that is to move that Bradley Beal contract if you're Phoenix, if you can't get what you want. I don't know how important that is to them. But based on how he hasn't fit and the win now timeline of KD and Booker and the high ceiling of KD and Booker, I would consider the importance of that real strong if I'm from the Phoenix Suns. I would. Bradley Beal contract was a mistake. They did a great trade turning that one pick into 3. And now they have what would entice somebody to take Bradley Beal and maybe even send him back something, if they're willing to part with all 3 of those picks. So, you know, their vision is not my vision. It's like I keep reiterating that. I don't really know if I'm not thinking backwards, if I'm trying to put myself in Phoenix's shoes. So, like, if I love the 3-guard model, maybe I go after a guy like Zach LaVine and pay the Bulls to take Bradley Beal. But see, they already tried that, and he didn't waive his no-trade clause for the Bulls. See, that's where it becomes more of a problem. Because as I'm assessing all this, the no-trade clause is very much just that. He can deny any trade, even if they find one that works. Which is all the more reason why they may need to involve picks to entice a team that he would waive his no-trade clause for to take the contract. I don't know if he would waive his no-trade clause for Sacramento. See, that's when it becomes a problem. I don't know that he does. But given the fact that he may have been willing to do it with the Wizards, maybe he would be willing to do it for Phoenix if Phoenix just don't want him around. I mean, it's hard to hold a team hostage when they say, hey, we want you out of here. Teammates looking at you crazy. It's like, at some point in time, him not waiving that no trade clause is going to create some type of rift in that locker room because they want what they want, and he's now in the way, holding up their opportunity to get whatever they feel they can get for him. So it's like, it can get weird. It can get really weird for Bradley Beal if that becomes the environment. And they want Jimmy Butler want them, and here he is talking about, I got a no trade clause. It can get a little weird. So that's the problem with no trade clauses. That's why I don't think they should actually exist for players other than like a Nikola Jokic and Wembanyama. Those are the only players who probably actually have them, and they don't even have them. You see what I'm saying? They don't even have them. I wouldn't imagine that they may want to negotiate to get them on their books, but I don't know that that's a perk worth paying for if you're Jokic or if you're Wemby, because who the hell's trading you anyway? You see what I'm saying? That's why I don't think you see many of them, because the players that are not on the verge of being traded, they're not going to pay for that in their contract, which is essentially what it is. It's a perk in the contract. It's obviously going to come out of the pocketbooks. I'd rather take the money if I'm Wemby. If they stupid enough to trade me, God bless them. You see what I'm saying? A no trade clause is for a guy who's afraid he's going to get traded, but has the leverage to demand such a thing. An old guy like LeBron James. You know, legacy act like that, who's still playing at a high level, which is why Bradley Beal having one was just weird. It should have never happened in the first place. So, yeah, that's why, for me, I don't know if he would waive it for like a Bucks. I don't know that he would do that. I have no idea. He said he'd do it for the Lakers. We're cool. We're cool. But what I will say is, for the sake of having flexibility, Phoenix being willing to part ways with all three of those picks should be enticing to a team. But once it becomes like, when you start talking about the specifics of the LA Lakers, then you're talking about what we have to move to match Bradley Beal's salary. And I don't know that that's going to be something that the Lakers would want to do, like moving on from Austin Reeves. Is that worth the bad 3 picks that's coming your way for Bradley Beal's contract? Probably not for a Laker team. No, I don't think so. And so that's why it's one of those situations where you have to wonder, are they going to, if the Lakers are looking to pivot toward a rebuild, then maybe taking advantage of something like that potentially could be a good thing. But then again, Phoenix, they're not necessarily just in a space where they have to move Bradley Beal just to get him off the team. They're trying to do something specific. So if that can't happen, then they probably be best in their mind to just hold on to him. So that's why it gets a little tricky. I'm not really sure what to expect in that situation. But the one thing that I can say is, I think Phoenix has a lot more flexibility right now after making that 1 pick in the 3. And I think that flexibility could potentially have it so that they can move on from Bradley Beal if they're willing to part with him. But see, Bradley has to, of course, agree to any trade. So it gets weird there. It gets awkward. And that's what I see there. Now, as far as Jimmy Butler's concerned, I don't know about Jimmy, because that situation is going south. And as I said in that video that you guys will be able to see later, if I were in the Miami Heat's organization's corner, would be telling them to not allow for Jimmy's disruption to be something that the world is aware of. He can act a damn fool. But us spinning around in circles in response to it is what ultimately hurts the trade value of the player. Let it be rumors of him being unhappy and acting a fool and missing team planes and stuff like that. Don't confirm it. Not if you're serious about getting a return that's respectable for your situation. He can act a damn fool, but he's going to have to do so on his own time, is what I'm saying. All the stuff that they're saying he's doing, we don't know unless they tell us. He missed the team plane. How do we know that? You told me. Oh, he didn't show up for practice. How do we know that? You told me. If I don't know that, Or if it's just a rumor around NBA circles and it can't be confirmed, it can't be used against you in trade negotiation leverage circumstances. So for me, I just think Miami is played right into Jimmy's hands because he's trying to make life hard on them. And he know their ego over there is going to make it so that they make it loud. Like, as we talked about in that video, the Heat culture. You're not going to be disruptive. We're going to shame you. No, you're going to hurt your trade prices. You're not shaming him. He's doing this on purpose. He know what comes with acting a damn fool, just like he knows what comes with not acting a damn fool. You understand what I'm saying? So I just think this is when it becomes a situation where Pat Riley, and I've said this many times on this channel, I just think Pat Riley, the game has just passed him by, man. His old ways of doing things and his ego, it just ain't built for the world, the ecosystem he's in. You got to be able to know what information is necessary to share and when to swallow that ego and let somebody just act a fool on their own terms so that you can benefit from that being quiet, that not being known. He can't do it. And Jimmy out there playing him like a fiddle. You wouldn't know, like, I'm going to tell you like this. If I'm running the organization, this is just not checkers, fam. I'm not suspending that fool. He late for a team playing? Bad. I'm on the phone 24/7 trying to move him. I'm not doing nothing that's going to hurt that trade value. You know what I'm saying? I'm on the phone 24/7 trying to move this dude. And I'm going to release to the media information that's going to make it difficult for me to do that? I'm going to let the whole NBA's atmosphere understand that the price is low on this fool because he's insubordinate and we have to move him? Hell no. In order for you to know he's acting a fool, he's going to have to go on somebody's publication and blast me. Because the little stuff that he do behind the scenes, you're not going to know about it. So that's why I just think, man, Miami ain't never really played these type of games properly, in my opinion. Paying people the wrong amount, not valuing young players in the past, although they've changed their ways in that way. But this is just like, man, this is how you work against yourself. This is how you let your ego work against you. This ain't the time to put your chest out and say, I'm the man, and you're going to act like, no, this ain't the time for that. Not when you're trying to move this fool. No, it's not the time for that. Putting 7-game suspension on him here, 3-game suspension on him, and then telling everybody, and he did refuse services. That's not, man, that ain't information I need to be hearing. I don't need to know that. So that's, like, if I'm a Miami Heat fan, that's the only conversation I'm having. If I was brand BDF44 for the Heat, man, we would be blasting the Heat so often about how they handle things and their need to do a stick measuring contest and how it hurts our asset class. Like, bro, that's all we be talking about. So that's my thing with them. I don't particularly think they're gonna get a good return for Jimmy Butler in theory. Not based on how they're playing this. They're gonna get a terrible return for him, or gonna be stuck with him and continue this stick measuring contest. Basically, that's how I see that going. And it just gets uglier and uglier and uglier. And Mickey Harrison ends up holding the bag in the end. That's how it ends up going. So I don't know, man. Jimmy's gonna opt into his money one way or another. That's what it is. He ain't gonna get the money he want on the market. No matter where he go, he ain't getting it. Unless it's Phoenix and he can't get to Phoenix. Yeah, it's just not. That don't look possible right now. So would Miami just simply be willing to take back the 3 picks created so that they can take Bradley Beal themselves and then move Jimmy to Phoenix where he want to go? That's the simplest solution to all of this. It didn't just accepting them 3 damn picks or how many picks Phoenix would be able to offer them and give them Bradley Beal. Problem is Bradley going to waive his no trade clause for the Miami Heat? See, it becomes a situation where here we go again with Bradley Beal and his contract. Is he going to be willing? I don't see him turning down the Heat, but he may. I don't know. That's the point. If the cards are in his back pocket. So now that Jimmy's price has gone down, I'm hearing the Golden State Warriors might get involved. I think that would be good for Steph Curry. I do believe that the Golden State Warriors are not that great of a team because they don't do player evaluation very well right now. That's what I honestly think. They just evaluating everything the wrong way. I'm not a big believer in Mike Dunleavy's abilities at all. I just don't think he's that great at what he does. I really don't. And I think the problem is there, right there. I think if the Golden State Warriors fire him and bring in somebody else that's a little better at what they do, I think their team turns around pretty quickly. I think he's a problem. I really do. I think he's a problem. Some of his choices, how he values things, what he ain't gonna do versus what he is willing to do. I don't agree with most of it. Most of the stuff I just look over there, I look at him like, and we've had a lot of conversations on this channel about the Golden State Warriors and their unwillingness to do certain things. And their willingness to do other things and who they just can't move. Like stuff like that. I'm just like, man, y'all evaluating stuff in a way that I think hurts you, Golden State. And that's why your team is not very good, in my opinion. That's exactly why your team's not very good. Paid Jordan Poole all that damn money and trade him away for Chris Paul's albatross of a contract just for him to walk after 2 years of doing nothing. Or 1 year doing nothing. And you go after Buddy Hield, and you got a bunch of shooting guards. You got Podziemski, you got Wiggins, you got all these people, and then you playing Buddy. You know, bringing in Dennis Schroeder. I mean, that's a pretty good trade, given the fact you traded away an expiring contract on a hurt player to bring him in. That's cool, but like their unwillingness to move Kuminga, and he's talking about he wants an exorbitant amount that's far more than what the market was going to give him. Like Kuminga would have been gone 3 times over if it was me. He ain't that. Whatever the hell they think he is, he's not. Especially if he's going to play behind $100 million of Draymond Green, which also should have never been chosen over some of the other options that they could have had. I just don't know what I don't doubt that they have a nice deep team. They have deep team and nice role players, but their belief in their young players is probably the biggest problem they have. That's probably the biggest problem they have. Because I think if they would have been willing to part with some of them young dudes, they could have had Markkanen next to Steph Curry. And there are probably other things they could have had next to Steph Curry too. But like, they just have to have Kuminga. I'm a Moody guy. I like Moody. I like Podziemski too. But like, it's a bit of a redundancy there when they don't even have their center position straightened out. Quentin Post looks like he's going to be pretty good someday, but like as a backup role center, you know, in the ilk of, you know, Nick Richards or something like that. I think he could be very good, but that kind of very good. So it's like, I don't know, man. I don't doubt that they have some stuff that maybe I'd want to pick from to try to build my team up if I'm a Lakers or somebody. Yeah, let's give me a couple of them role players they got. Sure. But in the grand scheme of things, when you put all that stuff together, and then you talk about we ain't moving to get a bigger star because we got to have Kuminga and Moody, like, it just becomes a situation where it's like, oh, that's why you suck, bro. That's why your team is trash. That's exactly why your team is a 500 basketball club right now. So I legitimately think if they want to save Steph Curry's final years of his prime, they're probably going to fire Mike Dunleavy, bring in somebody else, and then be willing to move on from Kuminga and get something for him before he signs with somebody else on free agency, or ends up over-signing with you to continue the role he's been in, for which has never actually fit with the team, literally ever. He's not that, bro. I keep telling people this. I've been saying this for years. He's just not that. He's a nice athletic center. Power forward. Can really put the ball on the floor. I think his ceiling is like Jeremy Grant. I don't see him getting much better than that. And so I don't know. They're holding on to him like he's the future of the Golden State Warriors. Nah, bro, he's like your number 4. Number 3, number 4 at best. Like Kyle Kuzma type. Like, that's who Kuminga actually is. They're treating him like he's about to be the next coming of Shawn Kemp or some type, you know what I mean? They think he's going to be like, nah, bro. Nah, I don't even think he's going to be as good as Julius Randle. I legitimately don't think he's going to be as good as Julius. He's going to have his, Aaron Gordon maybe, minus the defense. Like an offensive side, Aaron Gordon. Like, that's nice, man. But, like, are we really making him untouchable? Are we serious about this? We're really choosing him over Lauri Markkanen if that was ever on the table? Like, not to say that I thought that I know that was on the table, but at one point that was what was being discussed. And they were saying, no, we're not throwing Kuminga into the deal. I'm like, man, throw Kuminga into the deal. Like, there's a different level of player we're talking about here. Totally not. What? No. And they're saying that he wants to make so much money. It's like, he wants a $200 million contract. He wants a $2 million contract. That's type of stuff. Like, man, listen. Whoever's making that decision, I don't know if it's the Golden State Warriors front office, that ownership, maybe behind Dunleavy saying, yo, we're not moving these youngsters. But they seriously need to be less untouchable. Less untouchable. That's what I think. I know how it feels when you draft a guy, you don't want to give up your own. You drafted him, he's yours. You had so much success with the draft, with the last batch. That's probably what's working against him. Look what we did with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond. This ain't Steph Curry and Draymond and them. That ain't who that is. And so I just, they never recovered from not drafting LaMelo Ball. If you want to know the truth, they never recovered from not drafting LaMelo Ball. If they would have stuck LaMelo Ball next to Steph Curry, they'd have had the best backcourt in basketball. But they didn't do it. They had to go with Wiseman, and Wiseman was, well, we'll see where Wiseman is right now. I just said that day. I was like, yo, Wiseman cool, but he ain't LaMelo, bro. Like, LaMelo? On draft day, we knew LaMelo was going to be better than Wiseman. Everybody knew that, except for the Warriors, apparently. So, I don't know. Hey, man, whatever you want to do, man. I'll let Mike Dunleavy and his choices run y'all into a space that y'all was in when I was a kid. And believe me, a lot of your fans don't know of that Warriors. They don't remember you guys being that ridiculous. They don't remember the Monte Ellis, Anton Jameson Warriors, Eric Dampier. Like, they don't remember that crap, bro. I do. The team was terrible all the time for a long time. And that's exactly where they're going to be again if they keep on making decisions the way they're making them right now. And I don't think Steph Curry's going to leave there. I wouldn't take him for granted, but I would bet on him not leaving there no matter what. He's going to Kobe that situation, I think. Or try to get somebody to come play with him somehow. But as sure as my name is BDF44, I would not overestimate the market of San Francisco. My mother's hometown is cool, but it ain't LA, it ain't Miami. It get cold up there, it rains sometimes. City's nice. I don't love it, but it is not a big draw if the team ain't no good. Put it like that. It ain't. So that's something that the Golden State Warriors have to be honest about. They gonna Kuminga themselves to death, man. We can't move them. We ain't gonna move them. We're not moving our young pieces. I'm not saying throw the young pieces away. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm just saying that you need to stop saying that you're not gonna move them for stuff that's clearly better than them. And then proceed to bring yourself a bunch of role players like they're gonna step up and be something they're not. That's the problem with the Golden State Warriors. And mind you, they keep on sticking people in front of them. If you thought Kuminga was going to be that guy, then what the hell is Draymond doing there on a $100 million contract? He's forever a backup. And you got Trace Jackson Davis thrown in there. You got Andrew Wiggins, who plays a bunch of forward positions, thrown in there. It's like, you didn't even create the opportunity for these dudes to get that. Moody, we're not moving Moody. We're not moving Podziemski. But then you go and draft, getting Buddy Hield, so, Schroeder. You keep sticking people in front of them. Wiggins, once again, who could play a bunch of guard positions. It's like, yo, man. Warriors. You got to fire Mike Dunleavy, man. You got to fire this dude. Keep getting the same position over and over again. You have holes on your team. That's the problem. Where's your center? Trace Jackson Davis is a 4. Draymond Green is a 4. Kuminga, 4. Where's your center? This is why the Lakers keep kicking y'all behind every time we see y'all. It's because Anthony Davis able to cook. Why? Because you ain't got a legitimate defensive player in front of him. Why don't I hear about y'all trying to go after Walker Kessler? You know, like these are the things that make me say fire Mike Dunleavy. This is why. Because Steph Curry deserves better. At least LeBron James and Anthony Davis have each other. We did that for them. That's why we can't do certain things, because we gave them each other. What is Mike Dunleavy's excuse? Why is Steph Curry the only superstar on that team? Why is Draymond Green on a $100 million contract? You see what I'm saying? These are things that you can't answer, and their team is no good because of it. You got Wiggins making all this money. Buddy Yield coming in. Like, man, come on, man. Come on, man. So that's really it. I think Golden State is sorry, not because they don't have the flexibility like my Lakers don't, because of mistakes they made in the past. Nah, they just poorly evaluate talent and fit. That's what they do. And then keep saying we're going to let the young players take over, and they keep throwing people in front of them. That's why they suck. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. And Steve Kerr and his awkward rotations and weird choices, you got this hodgepodge of redundancy, and then you got this coach that does all types of backwards things with the roster all season long. You know, that's just, hey, man. Steph Curry, man, if you follow me, if anybody who knows you follow me, you're going to go down with the ship, bro. This is not a situation where you're going to be winning too many more championships with that unit. Not until y'all do something that y'all not doing. Bring some balance to your unit. You know, get yourself another running mate that's a legit all-star. You can't keep doing this, man. You got too much good that you can offer a contender to keep toying around up there in the Bay Area if this is what they're doing. They obviously don't know what they're doing, clearly. While De'Aaron Fox is trying to get to San Antonio, why aren't you? It's the truth. PDL 44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.